What's up, NBA fan? What's up, all sports fans? This your boy JB, host of the Behind the Bench Podcast Network and channel, giving a shout out to the rest of the crew: Shy, Kelvin, Jermaine, KB Film Room, and Big Dog Talk Sports. That's right, that's right. Everyone who's tuning in, thank you for supporting Behind the Bench. Subscribe to the channel. Help make this show the best that it can be. Look, let's not waste no time. Ain't no time to waste. Look, as I've been saying, we're really thankful for every person who has subscribed to this channel. And when I say help make the show the best that it can be, that's exactly what I mean. And we just hope that we're doing a great job. We're trying to be as objective as humanly possible. And, you know, me personally, everybody that's part of this crew is providing great content. And we really try to present our view from a historical perspective. And this is what led me to reach the conclusion that the worst move in the history of the franchise known as the Los Angeles Lakers was bringing the hurricane to the team. Because what it did was, it has literally undermined the past of what truly made this franchise great. It disrupted the present, and it led to the future being mortgaged away. That one decision of bringing the hurricane to this franchise led to all of those circumstances taking place. And I remember, man, my reaction as a long-standing fan of the Los Angeles Lakers, you know, I was very, disoriented, man. I was like, I can't believe they bring this dude here. I couldn't believe it. And I get it. I always say, everybody want to see their team win, man. But I tell you, this experience of the past 7 years has revealed to me, number one, why I became what led me to become a fan of the Los Angeles Lakers, and ultimately why I am a fan of the NBA. That's what these 7 years have highlighted to me. And what I come across is, you cannot disrespect the history of this game. You cannot pose a situation where you cast out logic and try to generate every shortcut imaginable to achieve victory. When I mean victory, I mean real championships. Right? And the bar has been lowered so bad. What we have seen is unprecedented over these past 7 years. It's unprecedented, people. A franchise essentially casted out every significant young player who they drafted, specifically from 2014 to 2018. And then they will continue casting out their own for this guy with the Scottie Pippen Juniors of the world, the Max Christians of the world, the Dalton Connects of the world, who was essentially traded this season midway through. It's just the trade was rescinded because the person they were trying to trade, was being affected by health issues, or so they say. But my point is, man, when I don't believe in something, there's nothing to believe in. They sold themselves short the day they brought the hurricane to the franchise. And we get another prime example last night as the Minnesota Timberwolves and the improbable performance by one Rudy Gobert, who set an NBA mark, who set an NBA record, who went down in history last night. 27 points and 24 rebounds. And I knew he was going to score double figures last night. But in a playoff situation, when you have a team that's truly built versus a team that's makeshift, um, who continues to try to circumvent uh, true basketball representation, it can lead to something like that. But the player who sealed the deal for the T-Wolves last night as they eliminated the Los Angeles Lakers from the playoffs by defeating them in 5 games in the first round was one of their own, a real Laker, a true Laker in spirit, Julius Randle. And I'm telling you, man, and I'm not sitting here, man, trying to, I'm not a prognosticator, I'm not Nostradamus, but when you study this league, man, you can tell when a team is about to get eliminated. You can smell it, you can feel it. And I was like, at the Minnesota won game 4, I said, man, this would be beautiful if Julius Randle played a role in closing the deal out in LA, eliminating the team who originally drafted him, eliminate the same team who Julius Randle was representing on the court, sharing the last moment of Kobe Bryant's career as a player of the Lakers and the NBA, where the torch is being passed. You never get rid of a player like that, people. A man who was asked to get in the best shape of his career at that point, played all 82 games, was the leader of that young core, the emotional leader, and he didn't back down from nobody. That's why Kobe Bryant said in that great video that behind the bench crew member Kelvin presented yesterday, when Julius Randle stood up to Kevin Garnett, KG, the big ticket, and they interviewed Kobe Bryant after the game and said, hey, that's Julius Randle. That's a grown-ass man. Julius Randle didn't back down. So that means he commanded the respect. Like, man, we can't run up on him, man. That's not going to work. And the rest of the young core players, from Brandon Ingram to Lonzo Ball, they gravitated to Randle as the leader of the young core. And I'm telling you, people, man, they never should have went the route that they did, man. Because the Hurricane, he's not going to deliver nothing to them. Nothing. No parade is coming, man. That bubble chip was it. And that bubble chip was a byproduct and stood on the shoulders of that young core. If that young core were any good, they wouldn't have been able to trade for Anthony Davis. When the experts said Anthony Davis was going to be traded to the Boston Celtics after AD requested that trade. And he sold himself short too. He should have stayed out there in New Orleans. Luka Doncic, this situation is out of his control because it was almost like he was literally yanked from his own franchise. That's what this feels like, man. And these talking heads, they gonna put it all on him. They gonna put it all on him. Even though he dropped 30 points a game, all Luka did is what he's always did. He's second all time in points per game in the postseason. One of only 2 players in league history to average 30 points a game in the playoffs, only behind Michael Jeffrey Jordan. But he's not good enough. Just like AD wasn't good enough. Just like Russell Westbrook wasn't good enough. Just like all the moves in between weren't good enough. Just like the young core wasn't good enough. And what's at the eye of this storm is the Hurricane himself, LBJ, LeBron James. And that's why I refer to him as the Hurricane. It's the reason why. He caused a storm, man, that's lingering right now. The eye of the hurricane hit when they brought him to the franchise. But the remnants of the hurricane, it rears its ugly head every year. They make a move during the midseason, or they get someone in the buyout. They start huffing and puffing, ready to blow the house down, front running, talking all that yak. But none of this matters until money time. What this dude supposed to be the savior of this franchise, they have lost 2 of their last 12 postseason games. They got swept by Denver in 2023. A gentleman's sweep last year versus Denver, who the experts didn't want the Lakers to have to play in the first round because they weren't confident. And in this year, this gig has been up since that bubble. The bubble really, in reality, is fool's gold. It's an illusion, man. It's not tangible. When I think about the bubble, is number one, it never should have happened. Number two, it led to this illusion that the Lakers were back and they returned to glory, which they did not. Because when you really return to glory, you don't continuously fall short every year. Not make the playoffs, get eliminated in the first round, and you in win now mode. It's a joke. It's all fugazi. And number three, he playing in that Western Conference, baby. And that Western Conference is the real deal. That Eastern Conference, which is better now, but that Eastern Conference he played in, man, especially during his second run in Cleveland, it was about as lackluster as you can get. No superstar competition. Remember, Derrick Rose wasn't the same after he injured his ACL in 2012. Paul George injured his knee. He broke his leg in 2014, if I'm not mistaken. And took him like 2 years to return back to form. By that time, Paul George was traded to Oklahoma City. Dwight Howard was long gone. Boston had aged out. There was nothing there. And then when Boston kind of started over again with Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown, they were rookies and second-year players. He had no resistance. Miami was 500. Toronto lacked a superstar. Atlanta lacked a superstar. He had nothing. And plus, he was on a super team that was deeper than the super team in Miami. When he ushered in his whole discombobulated era of basketball and a devaluation of the sport and of the league. And I'm telling Laker fans out here, they continue to buy into this dude, man. You ain't gonna do nothing but frustrate yourself. Y'all should want to get y'all team back and demand that they move on from this guy. He's not gonna deliver. Man, this Western Conference is so far ahead. Look, think about it. They've only won 2 out of their last 12 playoff games with this dude. And if Minnesota would have been hitting their 3-point shots last night, they would have smoked them by 30. That's the only reason why that game was close last night. They kept on taking ill-advised threes and missing them. Otherwise, they'd have beat them down there. Remember how Phoenix beat them in that closeout game 4 years ago? When Devin Booker dropped 47 points, they was beating them by 27 points in the second quarter, midway through. This thing been over, man. It's all smoke and mirrors to try to keep this man career going, to try to convince people that he's the GOAT, and he's nowhere near it. He's nowhere near it, man. He's not. Look, I'm going to ask this question, man. I'm going to shut this bad boy down. In all the years he's been in the league, has he led a non-super team to the championship? He's never done it, people. And he's not going to do it. He hasn't done it like Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant, Tim Duncan, or King Olajuwon, or Larry Bird, Magic Johnson, Steph Curry, Giannis Antetokounmpo, Nikola Jokic. I can go on and on and on, man. It's not going to happen. That's not who he is. They going to talk about he need constant help. They need a big man. This franchise, the staple of this franchise is great centers, man. And they don't even have one. They don't even have a backup, man. And I'm telling you, it's not going to happen. But kudos to Julius Randle. I will be talking more about this down later today and tomorrow and the rest of the week. They ain't got nothing coming in the West, man. You got up and coming teams, OKC, Houston, Minnesota. You still got Denver. Here comes San Antonio, Portland. I mean, we can go on, man. And it's always a surprise out there. Joe Dumars is now the president down in New Orleans. You know how to put a team together, man. It's over, man. It's been over. Just like I said yesterday, going into the 23-24 season, they said the Lakers had the deepest roster in the NBA heading into the season. And then they lose in the first round. Now you fast forward a season and a half later, they ain't got no depth because they never had the depth. It's all smooth. They polishing off these low tier players, trying to pose them as mainstays, as contributors to winning, and it's not gonna happen, people. Man, it's all fugazi because they depleted their talent pool in record time, and they haven't been able to replace their young core. They ain't been able to do it. Because the young players they trying to replace the real young core with, they don't stand up. They're not as good. Julius Randle showed you that last night. Who's better, Jared Vanderbilt or Julius Randle? I rest my case. And Julius Randle, man, I'm so happy for him because he was so maligned when he was let go by the Lakers. And that's why I roll with that young core, man. Because it was no reason. They gave the Lakers no reason to get rid of them. If anything, they should have invested in them more. They're not finna win nothing with this dude, man. That bubble chip was really a manifestation of manipulating the circumstance to essentially try to generate another championship for this dude. Even if it was a tournament that would try to assert that notion. All the bubble really did was spawn the play-in tournament. That's all it did. It's all manipulation, people. This has been an utter disappointment the day that they brought him to the team. The first year, they didn't even finish with a 500 record, much less a playoff. So they start off on a bad note. He brings intangibles to your team, man. It causes everything to go chaotic. And a lot of disorganization, a lot of player turnover, asset depletion, talent removal. He strips your franchise down because he can only play one way, and that's to have certain type of players on the team to function. But his style of play is no longer tangible, and it really never was in terms of winning championships, which is what led him to start forming super teams in the first place. But this Western Conference is so deep. You got so many teams on the rise at the same time that is literally forced the Lakers' hand every year to make moves. That's all this is, man. And it's all because they gave up on the best young core that the NBA has ever seen in the one-and-done era, who never had a chance to develop and grow together. And that's the bottom line. And I'm going to celebrate Julius Randle's victory. And he can make a run now where Minnesota will at least reach the conference finals. And then we take it from there. And I would love to see him win a championship because he has the intangible to do it. But please leave your comments and thoughts. They panicking as we speak, trying to come up with another scenario to help this dude win, man. That's all it is going to be, the same talk this offseason. Rob Pelinka, he didn't do what he needed to do to put this team in position to win when he's overhauled his roster 7 freaking years straight. Giving up one draft pick after another. 18 drafted players let go and siphon off in record time. You can't run a franchise like that, man. But they're going to ask him, they're going to push him to do it again. They're going to push him to do it again because he can't win no other way and still wind up losing more than he wins. It cannot be contested. It cannot be debated because the history shows it. For the second straight year, this team has got eliminated in the first round by way of a gentleman's sweep. Please leave your comments and thoughts. Until next time, this is JB. This is BTB. This is Behind the Bench.